I have no idea who Walther Maczewski was. He seemed to be a merchant who at one point lived in Breslau and was active around Świdnica in modern-day Poland, seeing his only known books were published here. He seems to have been still alive in 1932. His only known prose work, Das Geheimniss, came out in 1920 and was only ever printed in a run of 350 copies. In the mystery, the narrator would go investigate the infamous long-abandoned house owned by the Marques Marincini, where no one had lived for several generations. After badgering the owners for the key, the narrator goes to spend the night inside, and sees a very beautiful woman staring at him from the staircase. Following her up the stairs into her bedroom, she tells him how several hundred years ago she was forced to marry a rich old man, who jealously guarded her and kept her a virtual prisoner. One day she met her husband's nephew in the garden, and after he kissed her, her husband murdered him and hid his body, then sent a man to violate her before she eventually found means of killing herself. The narrator wakes up the following morning found with his hand being gripped by the bony hand of a long-dead skeleton. My Body's Burial concerns a man and woman wandering the countryside at night under the light of the moon, before he starts kissing her and telling her about how he imagines his own funeral. The Dead Wishes has a man in a small inn in the countryside dreaming of possessing a woman, before waking up and going to her to make this a reality. In an inn where, in ancient times, Dionysus wended his way with his ecstatic following. The Coffin Island, the best story in the book, concerns a small island in the middle of a lake, dominated by a foreboding stone fortress. This is where the king sits and leers over his whole kingdom. A gruesome man as merciless as the stones of his burg, the history of human folly celebrating triumphs within him. One day he has his spearmen erect a coffin on the beach, a coffin from inside of which come despairing moans and wails. And every day a new coffin appears on the beach, heavily guarded, as the people trapped inside slowly wail and cry themselves into death. This goes on until the entire beach is covered by these wailing coffins. The king loves nothing more than to leisurely stroll between them, listening to the woeful wailings of the people dying inside. Then one day the king commands the whole population to assemble on the beach under penalty of death for some other horrible reason. But as he wanders through his forest of coffins, he is met by the fateful appearance of a great man with no eyes, who pursues him like an avenging angel until he is caught inside of a massive coffin. Then the eyeless man carries the coffin onto a boat and drives it around the island. The people assembled on the opposing shore witness all the king's men flee into his fortress and watch it catch fire and burn down, as the entire island turns into a mass of glowing stones resembling a giant Phrygian cap. The apparition has a man see a stranger appear in his sitting room smoking his cigars and telling him how once he told a woman he did not love her just as they were to make love, and then disappears, apparently being himself in a past life. The farewell is an annoying letter where a woman says she is leaving a man forever because she loves him and could never remain faithful. A very bad way to end the book in my opinion.